Welcome to the E-commerce Spotlight, a podcast where we discuss all things e-commerce related, from email marketing to angry customer reviews. My name is Diana, and today Ted Rolski from ChopChop has decided to join us to talk about WordPress themes. We would like to cover some questions such as, are custom-made themes always better? Or maybe they're too expensive and we should stick to ready-made solutions. Well, let's find out. So without further ado, let's introduce today's guest and then get straight to the good stuff. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Diana. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
Thank you. Fine. It's a lovely day over here, so I'm happy to, to dig into some technicalities.
Yes, it's always a good day to talk about e-commerce, right? So,
Yep, exactly.
all right. Well, my first question is, could you tell me a little bit what exactly is ChopChop and what do you guys do there?
Well, ChopChop is many things, I would say, but I mean, basically, we're a web development studio. That's what we specialize in. We have a wide range of technologies that we support. So, well, we're quite versatile and flexible when it comes to solutions that we apply for clients' needs. Well, we started as a WordPress specialists, so that would be still the core of our work. However, in the meantime, I mean, we've always tried to be up to the time with the technologies and the progress, because in this business you have to be on the watch on what's new, what's happening, and you gotta adapt. So a few years ago we started developing like a web application branch. So that's like the second focus when it comes to technology. And the third one would be e-commerce. We cover three popular technologies, which is WooCommerce, Shopify, and Magento. So depending on the size of the store, depending on the needs of the clients when it comes to the functionality, depending on the preferences, whether it's a self-hosted or a SaaS service, we can adapt. So yeah, I would say that that's it. We don't stray from other services like UX, UI, consulting, things like that. However, the core is the development. That's what we're best at.
Okay. Can you let me know how long have you guys been working in e-commerce? Just like specifically.
Yeah, I mean, that would be around 9 years, I would say. When I joined ChopChop 9 years ago, we were already in the process of building a Magento branch. It's actually a different brand called Magently. We're the same team, but for marketing reasons, this was kind of separated from the core ChopChop. But yeah, so that's when we started really pursuing this path of e-commerce. WooCommerce joined a little later as a natural evolution from WordPress specialization. Shopify is a recent addition. We just acquired a small team of Shopify specialists, and based on that, we developed this branch of business. But this one is the freshest of the e-commerce platforms.
Okay. So how did it happen that from, let's say, all the e-commerce companies, you decided to choose ChopChop? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why ChopChop?
Why ChopChop for a client?
No,
Um,
why did you decide from all of the other companies to start working for ChopChop? And
Yeah, you see, that's a good question, because I mean that's my first job in IT. I started 9 years ago. I graduated like from the university. I did some part-time jobs and decided, okay, it's now time to settle down. Let's look for something interesting. And well, my biggest strength was my language skills. So I was looking for something in the international environment. I didn't want a big company, like a big corporation. That's not something for me. So I was browsing through the offers, and I saw ChopChop's job offering, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I mean, from the first moment, I understood that that's the environment I want to work in. Like a, developing company that gives you a lot of autonomy, gives you, you can develop alongside the company, build your skills together with the company. So that's the best way to start in the business. And well, I didn't just start. I stayed for 9 years now. I'm still there. So Well, I think it's a multiple. I mean, there are multiple factors that kept me at ChopChop. That's definitely the team, the people I work with. That's a lovely team of people who really like what they do and try to play as team players rather than on their own. That's what's very important for me. It's also the fact that it's part of my nature as well and my colleagues as well that we get really we're dedicated to what we do. So we want to deliver something that makes sense rather than just earn money. We'd rather say that we're not really able to do something instead of doing it wrongly. So yeah, I would say these are the factors that kept me. I mean, made me start. It's a different story, but that things that kept me at ChopChop.
Yeah, and e-commerces are really in just like, let's say, really rapidly developing, especially since pandemic. So I think it's a good industry to be in with a lot of future
Absolutely.
potential, right? Right.
Absolutely, and there is no boredom. There is like every project is different. Every client has different needs, so that's also important for me that there is no boredom. At work, every day I face new challenges.
Yeah. So, have you ever participated in a podcast before? Maybe you guys do your
Um,
own?
yeah, I mean, it's funny again because I've never been on a IT related podcast. I used to run my podcast, music related podcast. I was playing reggae and dancehall and telling some stories about some very niche things in this very niche genres. At least niche in our reality, because there are parts of the world where it's not a niche culture. But yeah, in Poland,
Yeah.
it's not that popular. So yeah, that was a very niche thing, but it gave me a lot of fun. I'm in the process of preparing the second season with guests this time, but this is like fifth level of my projects I'm currently working on, so it's taking time, and I have like five episodes I recorded, but I haven't even started mixing them yet, and it's gonna be a bit of a work.
All right. So there you have some experience. I guess it's
Yep, I
not
do.
okay. All right. I think I want to get a little bit more into the actual reason we met today to discuss. Ted, please tell me. My first question would be about WordPress themes. So, for like, if a client came to you, what would you say is better, custom made or ready made? Does this choice even matter? Does it depend? If you could elaborate a bit about that.
Sure. Well, I would say custom theme without any hesitation.
Oh.
And yeah, there's a number of reasons for that. Of course, one of the reasons is that we at ChopChop we basically try not to deal with ready-made themes, and I'm just gonna elaborate in a moment why. Um, but it's all based also on our experience, and everything I'm gonna say is not only some slogans you can find on the internet. This is actual experience of a let's say professional, let's call me like that, working in the business
I think we
for the
can call
past
you
9 years.
that.
Yeah, I'm always trying to be humble. So yeah, like first of all, of course, the initial investment is much smaller because when you go for a ready-made theme,
Yeah.
because you pay like $50-$60, maybe $100, and you get a theme that you can set up yourself, try to just change a few things, and it works. That's true. And if that's enough for you as a starting business, then I would say go for this, because that's a good way to test if the business you have in mind makes sense, if it catches up, if you know what I mean. So to start with, you don't even need a development studio to help you. Maybe somebody to put it on the server if you're really not technical. And well, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Not everybody knows how to put files on the server and then deploy them and stuff like that. Um, but that's a good thing for the start. Then when you want to maintain this, the problems start. When you want to update it, when you want to add new plugins, because the themes are usually made in a way that they're very rigid, very very hard to modify. So if you work with out of the box features, And that's usually enough for the beginning. That's fine. But if you want something that will grow with your company, that you will be able to expand and maintain for years and years to come, you need a good development studio that will create a theme that will be built exactly for your needs and in a way that will let you build new features without affecting the old ones. That's the first thing. So like being future proof, if you can say it that
Yeah.
way, like being possible to last for longer than just a few months, let's say. Because I've seen a lot of ready-made themes. I usually see them when a desperate client comes to ask after working with three freelancers and says, guys, please save this theme. It's broken. Everything they do, everything they touch breaks something else. I can't get a simple feature on. And that's the case because you have a version of WordPress, you have a version of WooCommerce if we're talking about a store, and then you have plugins on top of that, and on top of that you have a page builder and the theme that was built for this particular moment and for the demo to be sold, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the things. The other thing is the efficiency or like the page speed. Page builders are built with a lot of features that you as a store owner don't need. They are built to accommodate many different scenarios. Of course, only the scenarios that the creators will foresee, but there are many features that you don't need. Every feature, every element on the site that you don't need affects your page speed, and page speed means good or bad SEO.
Yeah.
So that's a very important factor. What's more, the more you work on it, the database grows. And from the very beginning, the database is much bigger than with a custom theme and much more chaotic. So the more it grows, the more you add features, the more orders there are, the page speed deteriorates all the time. So that's a very important factor to take into consideration. Again, that's why I said for the beginning to test your business, just to start with, yes. In the meantime, you can start working on an actual theme. And the last thing, when you have a store, it's very important to take care of the site security. And when you have a team of specialists build your theme and maintain this, you can be sure that there are always appropriate measures taken to maintain your security. With a ready-made team, there can be some, because it's not only built by developers, it's built of many ready-made components, like a page builder. Let's say a page builder has a failure in their updates, your theme becomes much more vulnerable. And well, the last thing, because of course I'm saying this, I prepared for this podcast, so I kind of gathered a list of the most important factors. And the last one will be the thing that can be a bit controversial. In my opinion, it's much more user friendly to use a backend, the admin panel that's built especially for your needs. But you have to learn this, of course, because WordPress is not the most intuitive CMS, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the most intuitive backend. And I'm not going to lie about this. But when you learn how to use this and you have the features that you want, it's much easier to use this than, let's say, a page builder like Divi or any other, because there is such a variety of features that you don't need, that you get lost in it. And I've heard about clients looking for a feature for a couple of days, like a module, because there were so many things that they didn't know where to look for this. And when you have a backend that's prepared for you, well, it's much easier to learn, and you know that the feature that is there is the one you're looking for. So I would say that, in short, or not in so short, that would be the most important factors why you should consider going for a custom theme. Of course, the investment is much bigger, but if you want your business to grow, well, I guess you need to invest first.
I have a question. I also sometimes heard of a situation, because it depends if sometimes it's an open source, but if you, for instance, Magento, I know it's not the main topic today, but I know that sometimes certain companies build on Magento, but it's a SaaS. And then if you want to implement any changes, it's also very, very problematic. So is that something we should also look out for if what we're buying is a SaaS or an open source? Is that something that, clients should pay particular attention to?
Yeah, as far as I know, all WordPress themes are self-hosted, so you don't really face the risk
Yeah.
of this being SaaS. Because with Magento, I think it's a different story with the with the Magento Commerce, etc., etc. So, but with WordPress, you're the owner. But I mean, what you're saying, the flexibility is a
Yeah.
problem. If you want to build new features and develop it, it's starting to be problematic. Because if you want to go with the SaaS, a simple out of the box solution, then it's better to go with the Shopify theme. Because I mean, Shopify mastered it better. I mean, that's their whole business idea, to let you build in a simple way nicely looking themes that are a SaaS. It's a more expensive thing to maintain, but gives you more possibilities. Let's say with WordPress themes, these are, because WordPress is open source, so anybody can build a WordPress theme. How you as a user can judge whether this one was built in a good way or not. Like taking apart even all the bad sides I told you about of ready-made themes in general, then this factor comes in. Like it can look beautifully in the demo, but it's just a demo, and you don't own the pictures or the photos or the videos. They might be different resolution than what you have, so they will not look nicely when you replace them with your pictures. And when you have a design team, they will also adapt to what you have, to your brand feel, to your brand materials, assets, everything you have.
Okay. So tell me, what are the biggest then advantages of custom things? We know a little bit that you can choose everything. Is it actually that much more expensive, or how does it look in the long run then?
Well, the maintenance in the long run will be much cheaper, because if it's built correctly in a by a team of professionals, then the developers do what they can to make sure to ensure that this theme lasts long. And as long as you update all the plugins and WooCommerce and WordPress regularly, and this sometimes can obviously mean a little bit more work, because if we have a bigger update, you need to put a little bit more work to make sure that the custom features are not affected by this, and if they are, you need to make the fixes, and that's something you cannot really avoid, because, well, to build a custom theme, we need to override some of the basic features. But this happens rarely, only in the case of big updates. When you have so maintenance is much easier, and to build out the new features is much easier. The initial investment, yes, it's much bigger. It's couple of dozen times bigger, or like a dozen times bigger, because it depends on the team you choose, obviously. But if I'm to took for us, a basic ready-made theme is $100 plus, let's say, a couple of hours of some developers help to help you you put it up on a server and stuff like that. So you probably a couple of $100, $1,000, and that's it. With a custom theme, that's a few $1,000s. Of course, if you have many custom features, I'm not telling about the end. I mean, the highest end of possible costs. But again, if you have custom features, you're not gonna go with a ready-made theme in the first place, because you will not get these features that are custom. You need a developer to build them upon a theme, and, well, building them on top of a ready-made theme will be a suicide. So if we're talking about even, let's say, a more or less standard store with some custom features, that's a few $1,000s.
Okay, but in the long run.
Yeah, and I mean, by the long run, I also mean, reliability of your store and the SEO, because in the long run, it's not only the cost that you put into the store, but also the profit. You can get a much better profit of a well-working store, because user will be not really bouncing because the page will be loading too long, or some features will not work. Because imagine, a product page gets broken because you did something wrong in the page builder, or the update of the page builder broke something on the product page. Well, you stop earning money. And obviously, I'm not saying that things don't break in custom themes, but they do very much more rarely, much less frequently than it happens with the custom with the ready-made themes.
All right. Do you know, well, since we established that custom themes are way better, do you know why ready-made ones are just so much much more popular than custom ones? Do you know why people opt for that? Do you think it's just the price or?
Well, in my opinion, it's it's the price. Generally speaking, WordPress is the most widely available platform for you to build a cheap store, because that's you only have to make one investment and then have the cheapest WordPress hosting you can have, and you can start. Of course, the better hosting, the better theme, etc. We can go on, but to start with is a great solution. And well, there's lots and lots of new businesses popping up around that are working on a small scale. And I know it perfectly even from my home, because my wife has a store, and she started with some. I mean, she's never really had a ready-made theme from Theme Forest, because well, we already were together when this could have happened. But before I had met her, she had like a, a SaaS feature which was terribly looking, but was cheap. It was the cheapest, and that was the only way for her to start. And as her business developed, she went for, well, she got a good advice at home, so
Yeah,
she got a
I
good
bet.
store. Yeah, but that's the philosophy, and I mean, I get it. Not everybody wanna start with a big debt to build a store that will guarantee, that it works perfectly from the start, because you don't know if the business concept really sells. So with a WordPress theme, you just need $100 and you can start your business and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Just a bit of advertising, even on social media. You can do it yourself. So it's like a DIY mentality. And since it's so widely available, people just go for this. But at the same time, you can see how Shopify's popularity is growing. It's because it's really filling this niche in the market. Since these stores look much better, work much better, because well, they also don't give you that much flexibility, but all this code is maintained and built by the creators, at least the engine of Shopify. And these themes are usually built by Shopify, so it's only a few applications slash plugins that you need to add. That's why it's growing, because the users that feel that want to start with a business, they have a better choice now than to go with a cheap ready-made theme. This is just the cheapest, most basic solution to go with, right?
All right. So could you tell me what exactly is the process of creating a WordPress theme? Okay, let's say I am a shop owner. Yes, I'm right now Diana, shop owner, and I come to you because I want to create my own website. Let's say I have an idea. Maybe I want to sell luxurious candles. I don't know. Could you tell me a little bit more how this process looks like, step by step? If I came to ChopChop, exactly. How does it look? How do you guys take care of your clients?
Well, the first thing that happens is you meeting me, usually, unless I'm on holiday, because I'm responsible for the new business at ChopChop right now. So what I do, I try to meet with a client, in this case you, to learn more about your business, learn more about the features you might need on your website, learn more about what you have right now, whether you have the branding, whether you have the design team, whether you already have like specific features in mind, because some clients come after consultations with professional e-commerce consultants, so they come with a list of features, and well, that makes things easier for us. We just we it's ready, right?
You apply
But
them.
let's assume that you have nothing, you just have an idea. So we start with UX UI consultations with our colleagues from the UX UI team. If it's necessary, we start with the branding, the style guide, and all the colors, fonts, and basically the look and feel of the website and your brand, because that's what we can do as well. This is a specialty of, let's say, other companies that specialize in marketing, but we can do this as well if you're happy to do this with us. In most cases, it doesn't happen. In most cases, the clients come with the logo,
It's right.
the fonts, with this whole style guide.
Mhm.
We take this, we organize workshops with the UX team to discover your needs, to discover your target group, to discover what you are going to really sell. We're not really trying to intervene or interfere with what your business idea is. We're just to put it into a website. We're not like a consultancy company when it comes to business. So based on all the information that we get from you, we start working on the design. That's where most of your cooperation with us is needed, because that's where we ask you very frequently if you like what we're doing, if this is the right direction. We discuss our approach, why we chose certain solutions, instead of others that may look nicer but be less UX friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Once the design is signed off, we assign developers and we start the development, which is a process that doesn't involve the client that much, because it's basically putting everything we discussed, everything we created when it comes to design, the actual look and feel of the website. We put it into the code and add the admin panel so that it's easy to use for you to edit yourself, because that's the biggest advantage of WordPress. Not only WordPress, but I mean, most of the CMSs now, but WordPress was kind of revolutionary in that matter, with the whole community of plugins, that you can do a lot of stuff yourself. Then when the process is ready, we test this internally, both the functions and the visual part of the website, and put it on a staging server that we can help to set up for you. You just need to buy some server space. We can recommend somebody. Again, we're trying to work with clients and adjust to their needs. And then we're waiting for your feedback.
Okay.
As soon as the amendments are made, depending if it's bugs or not, we're trying not to deliver a page with bugs, but I mean, nobody is perfect, and sometimes there might be some small things that we have overlooked, and then we can just move it to production. I mean, make the page go live.
Yeah. And what's the average time that a client has to wait from, let's say, the beginning to uploading the website, or does it just differ depending on the size or?
Yeah, I mean, we can have like an average for we already assumed we need a basic theme with some custom features, right? So I would say that the design process in total can take around 2 weeks, assuming there's the most communication involved. So when we get a green light, we start working on this. Sometimes we need to wait like a week for us to start, because obviously we're trying to be as booked as possible. And most of the companies that do their job right will have the same situation. So you need to maybe wait a little, but from the moment when we start, that's usually around 2 weeks for the design, and then I would say 3 to 4 weeks to get everything after feedback live. Because we can be ready with the development faster, but based on my experience, I can tell you that you will never have time exactly the moment when we say, hey, can you check whether everything's fine? Well, you're running a business, so it's not that moment you're ready. Okay, let me just check. So then there's a bit of back and forth with communication, some adjustments, some fixes.
What would you say that's the most challenging part in making custom theme from the whole process? Which part do you find the most challenging? Like discussion with the clients, or when maybe if the client doesn't fully know, or
Yeah, I would say the discovery phase,
mm-hmm.
to be able to balance between the features that the client think they need and look nice, and the page speed. I mean, the balance between those two, page speed and ease of development. Because there are solutions that may differ with some details, but one will be very easy to implement. The other one will require custom development and will take a few days more, which is a few $1,000s more, right? Or not a few thousand, but much more money. So because I've been working professionally with development much more than design. So for me, since I know much less about this and seems much much more connected to the client's taste, is the UX UI phase. So the discovery of the features, but again, also making sure that the client simply likes what he or she sees, because in most cases the clients don't really have very specific idea of how they want their website to look like. So they will tell you, yeah, similar to the competition, the colors, oh, yeah, I like red, but I don't know. And then you actually have to imagine, based on this very vague information, what the client likes. So I would say that these are the challenges, because putting this into code, unless it's a very complex project, but that doesn't usually happen with Shopify or WooCommerce. It's more Magento related when we really have big stores with custom features. So that's usually less challenging.
Okay. And let's say, is it possible to do that? The website theme, I'm still your new client here. Is it possible that the website theme will somehow reflect the vision of my company? Maybe if I don't really know what colors I want, but I can come to you and just say, this is the vision of my company.
Yeah, that's what the designers do.
Okay.
They put your vision into actual visuals, let's say this way, right? So that's why I'm saying it's challenging in my opinion, because you have to have great imagination, not only actual knowledge of UX UI. The imagination and intuition are very important in the designer's job. So as I'm saying, you can come with a vision and say about some inspirations that you have, and it's our duty to put it into a form that will be a website.
And satisfy me.
That will represent your vision, that will represent your energy, and that will attract your target group.
All right. So, okay, let's say I have now my website. Could you tell me, what do you think it's easier? When building a theme from the ground up, or optimizing an already existing one? In your opinion, which one would be better?
Oh, that's a question I really hate when it's asked by clients, because, well, if you ask the developers,
I'm the tricky client.
Yeah, but I mean, if you ask the developers, 99% cases you will hear, no, you gotta build it from the scratch.
Okay.
I have a little bit different approach, and I'm trying to work with the clients, because of course I understand that it makes no sense to build your theme from scratch if you just built it a year ago or something like that, and you just need it improved. So it depends on the quality of the code. It depends on the theme you used. We sometimes can advise on some upgrades, simple changes that can improve your page speed or improve the UX or fix some bugs. But we do this after really looking into the code, because as ChopChop we specialize in building custom themes. So neither we have experience in really working with ready-made themes or page builders in particular, nor we really like to do this, because the developers, well, they want to really grow as developers and as professionals. And this is a step backwards. And well, we're also, as I said in the beginning, we're a team, so we're trying to do stuff, or like, I'm not going to let my colleagues do stuff they hate, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we're a bit choosy accepting these projects, but it's not that we don't do this. We do this sometimes, and sometimes it's just a matter of, let's say, maintaining a theme for a while until the client gets to know us better and feels like, okay, maybe it's better, instead of really spending money on maintaining this one and improving, maybe just to put a stop to this and just invest in building something that will not break. Because you can't forget that making even small changes to a ready-made theme can be really time consuming, because you change one thing in a custom way in the code and something else can break, because these things are interconnected. So if we build a theme, we know what can break. We have tools to detect this. In this case, it's much harder. So that's also the experience we got, that it often made our relationship with clients go sour, because we are not able to really reliably estimate the amount of time we will need to make some changes.
Yeah, it's like a Pandora's box. You open one and a lot of things go out.
Exactly. I couldn't say it better.
All right. So, as someone who deals with websites professionally on a daily basis, could you tell me what's the biggest mistake you see while online shopping? What makes you leave the website right away, or I don't know, you add things to the cart and you don't end up buying it? Could you tell us some of like the biggest mistakes that you've noticed?
Well, to be honest, as a user, because I'm gonna say this from my personal perspective this time, I would say the reliability of payment methods and the payment process. If I see any problems during the checkout, I start growing suspicious towards the website, and that's again, I mean, choosing a third-party payment provider. If you choose a popular one, well, that's usually enough. Like in Poland, we have, I mean, there's it can be Stripe, for example, let's say international, right? And then okay, I'm fine with this. However, with the checkup process, there is a lot happening on the team's side as well. So you need to make sure this goes smoothly as possible. So that would be the first thing, because I'm personally not that sensitive to page speed. I mean, I don't close the tab if the page doesn't load within a second. I know a lot of people do, and statistics show that a lot of people do. That's one of the biggest factors when it comes to people bouncing off your website. But I'm personally not that affected by this. If the page loads long, but I'm interested in what they're selling, I'll just open another tab and wait until the other one loads. And maybe that's because of my niche interests. And when I want to buy some vinyl records of,
You're patient.
vintage Jamaican music, you're not always sure that this website, is built by professionals and brings a lot of money to maintain this. So I'm more tolerant about it.
Okay. What about sometimes when it comes to like categories or filters, do you think that those like if you don't have the filters right, or I don't know, people can't find your buy now button, like those are also common. I know from my experience, the harder it is for me to find, where's my shopping list, where's my cart, and then I just get frustrated and I leave it.
Yeah, that's true. And then maybe even if you finish the process on one website because you already put an effort into this, you're not coming back because, oh, that was a hassle. I don't want to do this again. I'm just going to find another store. And yes, you're right about it. Absolutely. User friendliness is super important, even more important than page speed, I would say, again, for me, because I'm a person that really, if I like doing business with somebody, being a store as well. So if I like shopping on a store, on a website, I'll come back. I'm not going to look for other options unless it's but cheaper, of course. But I'll often just go to this one store because I know how to find the things I like, and I know the process is safe.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think now I can start going to that, first discovery meeting with you to open my own online store.
Absolutely.
All right. I think this we covered everything that I wanted to discuss with you today. If anybody has any questions regarding today's topic, please let us know at spotlight@iceagroup.com. Or you can reach out directly to Ted if you want to find out more about ChopChop and all the solutions that they offer. I know that it's a really, really interesting company. And could you maybe tell our listeners how they could contact you, please?
Sure. Easiest is if you go to our website and just find the contact form. You can also write a direct email to talk@chop-chop.org. So these are the two easiest solutions to reach out to us.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. It was really awesome seeing you, or maybe more hearing you today. And I wish you have a nice day and looking forward to the next episode. So thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Diana. It was a pleasure. It was nice to talk to you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.